so happy to bring you this program. And this program is probably sponsored by the Nature Network. This program is called the Unheard Stories. Those stories you've been missing, all the stories you missed. And the campaign we are running, it's called the Child Wellbeing Campaign. There's so many things we went through as kids, and the stories we would like to share with you. And these stories are going to be from none other than those people who are the marginalized, the most marginalized groups. Be with me to take you through this. And today we are having the person, you're going to get it more from the horse's mouth, but I'm on brand, and the show is the Untold Stories. Keep watching. Yes, welcome back to the show. I told you earlier that the show is called the Unheard Stories, and it's probably sponsored by the Nature Network. Here where I am, I'm so glad to be seated next to the Executive Director for the Refugee Coalition of East Africa, and I found him with flowers here. He will be telling us why does he love flowers in his office. But before we go any further, we'd like to hear, how are you today?
Thank you for coming. I'm all great. And yeah, so my childhood wasn't really that different from many other kids or from my area where I grew up in. The only difference began when I started to have feelings for boys. You know? I think it was in primary one. Yeah. I guess it was. Yeah, and for me, what is so funny is just I used to, at home it was so normal that I never even noticed anything different about me, except the feelings that I felt. But at school is when I could look at boys and get attracted to boys. And also at school is when people could, at school, as the same way I realized or I noticed boys, is the same way other kids noticed that I was different, that I was effeminate, that was not like in the other boys. So for me, the difference I started to feel difference when I started to have feelings. And in class, I was attracted to, cute boys and all. And to me, in my mind, what went was, this is what I feel. I want that guy the same way he's talking about other girls.
Now, Craig, your school, you're telling us about your school. Did you find any bullying in the school?
Yeah, there was definitely bullying in our school, and they used to bully me because of my ways or the way I carried myself. I was so effeminate by then, and boys mostly used to bully me because they felt I was weak. I'm still a very small body person, and I used to be a very small boy. And people used to bully me according to that.
How did you find that bully? Were you able to, because some of the interviews we've done, someone, when he or she was bullied, he couldn't even give up any answer in class?
No, actually, me never really affected me that well. I've always been active in class and everywhere, and I've always been noticeable. So for me, the bullying got to me like during break time and when people are with their friends. To me, it's when I had problems. I knew that
you couldn't associate with them.
And the bullies usually didn't come from my class. That was one thing. They used to come from other classes, from other streams. So they targeted me because I think they didn't know me. Because my real classmate never really bullied me.
Okay, now then I'm saying that's primary.
Yeah.
Then let's go to the secondary life. How is it?
So secondary is when I was really conscious.
I see adolescent age.
Yeah, I was actually a freshman by then, and I was so exposed. I think I confessed my love to a boy in senior 2, and that's when I told them that actually I like boys. With everything that they say in class, with the homophobia out there, what I watch on TV and everything, I got the strength and I confessed my love to the boy, and I told them that I like you. The way I like you.
So strong.
Yeah, I wasn't strong, but I was.
Courage. Was it courage?
I think yes, a bit of courage, but also I didn't have a choice to say, because for me it was everyone was getting a girlfriend, everyone was getting a boyfriend, and for me I was the only one who was left to myself.
Well, didn't you find it so difficult for you?
It was so difficult. It was extremely difficult for me to suppress my feelings, Because for the most part, coming out of primary, joining secondary, senior one, senior two, for the most part it was studies and the feelings that I was suppressing. And I was such a lonely person by then. I had so many friends, so many girlfriends, boyfriends, but I was so lonely because deep down inside of me, I knew this is not the real me. The real me wants to sit with that guy and feel that affection, you know, that boy-to-boy love.
Yeah. Now, when we are growing, there's some games we do play. What are some of the games you played when you're still in that early age?
Played everything. Played everything. And I would play the boys' games and the girls' games mostly.
So for you mixed them?
Yeah, I would play everything. Every other thing. Because where I grew up, there were so many kids and girls and boys. And a lot of games, like from school, from different schools, from different backgrounds. And I would play anything.
So like in school, there were those moments where people start clubbing. Didn't you find problems in clubbing whereby men are dancing with ladies?
No, that's the thing. My friends, they're actually straight. Most of my friends are straight. We would dance. You know, the squeezing dance, you know, this Jamaican dance, you know. But
I wish you showed us how the Jamaican can later.
But my friends used to dance with me in that way, the way I would want to. Like when, you know how Jamaicans whine and all the booty and all shaking and all that. But what is so funny that whenever we used to go to clubs, to parties and everywhere, obviously they would dance with girls, but eventually they would always dance with me, and I would feel that with that
vibe.
Yeah, that's another man. And it was so funny because for them they did it just for fun because they could do it.
Yes. Briefly, when in your conversation you talked about you being free at your when it comes to the family, didn't you find some challenges?
No, with the family, when I was younger, of course it was okay. Actually, with most families in Uganda or wherever, for them they can actually ignore when a queer child is growing up when they're different. Some parents, mostly women, would want, let me just ignore it. Oh, at the back of the mind they know that this is a child, let the child be. But when I grow out of age, that's when people are really noticing and they know that this is not childhood. This is what is his, like deep down inside, this is his true self, but they don't like the true self that I am. So it started to discuss there, you know, to be put out stories, to be put off, homophobia, throwing bombs, you know, hateful bombs here and there, watching news, and they would throw homophobic bombs, you know, when they know that they are going to, you know, it's going to affect you. Yeah. So when I grew up, it became so traumatic. But as a child, my home embraced me somewhat.
Just like, how did you come up with, like, we found you here, the refugee question of East Africa. How did you feel when you came out? You know, childhood, you've been so much traumatized, and I guess, you know, there was trauma. But how are you coping up with that? Because the campaign we are running is the Child Wellbeing Campaign 2020.
Yeah.
So we're trying to show people these stories they missed, the unheard, because for them they have that. If you queer, it's demons, you're imposed with demons. It's a Western culture. By the way, have you ever had Mzungu? Like in your relationships?
I think I've had a white boyfriend. I've had several white boyfriends, but me, I haven't really looked at it as a Mzungu thing because before I had white boyfriends when I grew up, when I came to Kenya. But way back in Uganda, I never met any white boyfriend of sorts. And even the kids I left from home, from way back, they were black. They were all Ugandan. So for me, I can't say that it came from one brother everywhere. And back then when I was younger, I didn't even have the internet. So someone would say, hey, you were influenced by the internet. So for me, it became naturally as being born as a girl and boy and every other gender. So for me, it was that. And it was harder when I was growing up. The older I got, the harder it got. But I felt more relief when I got exposed to the Ugandan gay community, I felt as if I had found my crowd, you know, my tribe.
Your family.
My family.
Your new
you
family.
know,
Tell us that.
But they let me be. And I think I started going, I met the Ugandan community through a gay bar. And each time we go, we usually used to call it in church. We go for church.
But I got to my mind.
We go for church services every Sunday, but our church services will be at night.
So
yeah,
like
so
kind
that
of
is where,
confusing.
actually, yeah, I would say, my friends would call me, you know, are you going to show up for church this Sunday, no? And it was such a good feeling because, you know, you're going to meet up people who are like you, people who feel the same way, people who have gone through the same problems. And you know,
so when you meet, would you get a chance to share these stories with them, or you just meeting anyhow? And how?
At first it was just
how do you meet? Because you told me that by then there were no internet.
That was when I was young, but towards when I was going to university, that's when I got exposed to the gay community. In my, I think, HSC, and there was internet by then. At that point, so me, I had Facebook and the internet, but also at school there were gay people. Also in my school I went to, there were gay people, and those gay people knew about the gay community. So one of them introduced me to the gay bar, and from there I started to make other friends, and we would talk about the things, profound things, over beer, over cigarettes, you know, but they were so profound things are part of us, things that concerned us, you know. But then again, it wasn't always that. It was for the most part, it was about fun, charity, that culture. But at the time, we would talk about profound things.
All right. Still, when we were young, we used to go to church. So, and we understand that church nowadays talks. Okay, it has never talked good about queer kids or queer people. So what's your take on that?
I'm a
During your childhood.
I'm a Muslim. Yeah, I'm Muslim, but it's the same thing in Islam also. They don't like gay people. Some Muslims don't like gay people and all that. But from what I studied from the Quran, I read and all the teachings.
You've read the Quran?
Yes, of course. I grew up a Muslim. I'm still a Muslim. But from what I took, that's the relationship I have with my God, and I answer to God only. So I don't answer to other person.
But Sheikh,
they had their chance with me, putting us in this thing, this construct, this conformity that a gay person has no way other way in Islam and all that. But then again, if you follow that, we are creation. I'm also God's creation.
How did that affect you?
It did, because in the end, I was seeking faith. I was seeking a safe place with religion, with God, you know, being there. But then again, where you're seeking help or safety is where you find people who have reservations with you or with your being. So for me, the good thing is that I understood my religion, and I understood that I only answer to Allah. I don't answer to any other person. So they had their chance with me and their homophobia and all that, but no more right now.
Wow, that's so great, because but now you can be you,
of course,
be yourself. Still, when we go back to that childhood stage, you told me your parents were a bit okay because they didn't know you more. And you told me that you can dance, the Jamaican style. Are some of the other activities you can do, like apart from dancing?
Yeah, there is. I have like the way I grew up with, there's so much activity with the kids and the area. So I got exposed to all these things. But as a person, I enjoy the nature, I enjoy flowers, I enjoy going to the bush, to excursions and seeking nature.
I've seen you with flowers, and they're natural, by the way.
Yes, I just want
natural.
Yeah, but as a person, those are the things that I like. I'm not such a sporty person. Yeah, except for board games and all. But
swimming.
Yeah.
How do you find life when you go to the beach or to the swimming pool? When you sing boys, you sing
of
girls.
course. I have a boyfriend. I can't say that. I have no license to go and seek other people. But then again, it's the same thing with with the rest of the world. You know, you get to see a nice body, you get to see someone who you want to appreciate someone's beauty, someone who strikes you as someone who's confident and all right. So for me, it's pretty much the same thing. I want to feel as if this is natural and have no wrong when I like someone.
Right. Yes, viewers, we are, as we told you earlier, that we are on the show, which is the Nature Show, the Nature Network, sorry, and the show is the Unheard Stories. Those stories you've missed from us because there are so many people who think negatively about being queer and those marginalized groups. So today, we've got a chance to have Craig Paris, and I've liked the reception at their offices. I've never felt like this before. So thank you so much, Craig, for this. Only the question, we're in the Pride Month, Craig.
Yeah.
What is Pride? What does Pride mean to you? And for when you see the way how you've been growing, your childhood, because the campaign is about the childhood being. Yeah, the child well-being, sorry. Yeah. The child well-being campaign. So what does Pride mean to you?
So for me, first of all, I'm very thankful to our founder, the people who came before us, the people who fought for this, so that we also deserve justice, that we deserve equality and equity, that we are all human beings and we are all the same before God. So for me, I have to thank those people and I appreciate what they did, and I only have to take this forward as a person, as an activist, as a leader, as a human being. So for me, Pride to me is it is a reminder that all humans are equal. It is a reminder that we have to fight all injustices. It is a reminder that what affects someone and it's not good and it's based on a prejudice, based on something that is not founded, it has to be fought. So Pride for me is freedom. Pride for me is breaking out and standing up for someone. So it's a very big chance and we should celebrate Pride. Happy Pride.
Wow, thank you so much, Craig. We're running out of time, but at least the parents who neglect their kids after knowing that they're queer, or knowing their sexual identity, and these parents sometimes they see their kids growing, so they get confused of the church or maybe of the culture, religion. First, have you ever gotten something like that?
Yes.
Some of the friends sharing to these.
Yes. So I have experienced that, but my only advice to those parents is that they shouldn't be selfish. It's not all about you. You as a parent should see your child's life through your child's eyes. You know, even if this child is young, even if this child is your child, obviously, this child is a human being. This child is a person of themselves, and you should also give them. It's not about you. So if I'm gay and I'm a child, so then what? What do you do as a parent? And parents
can just neglect you.
And parents are supposed to protect us. So for parents who neglect people, their children based on their sexuality, gender identity, those are very
backward. This scenario whereby I'm a parent and I'm a leader in a certain church or a certain mosque. So how do you expect me to stand there for you as my child? Yet we hear that homosexuality it's a Western culture, or it's demon, it casts a lot of things which are, how do you expect me, a person, to come to you?
It's about teaching yourself, it's about knowledge. Even those religions, even Islam, the one it's about learn. They tell you to learn, to teach yourself about something. Teach yourself about your child. Yeah, your child's sexuality. Learn about them. Are you supposed to just excommunicate your child because of your religion? Don't you have your head to think for your child or to think for yourself, and knowing that yes, there is religion, but there is this child's life, and there is this person that deserves to live free, like the way you are. So for me, I tell those parents to stop being selfish to their children. Those things are from long ago. We are in 2020, we are in a new millennia, we are in a new period, we're new in era. Every parent should think, should be not selfish to their kids. Be there for your kids. You know, it's not about you, it's about them, it's about the kid. Find out more, learn about homosexuality, learn about gender, learn about sexuality and orientation.
Yes,
all that.
we've talked about gender. There is this
Identity.
gender identity and
Yeah.
gender expression.
Yes.
What's the difference between, because it's kind of confusing us and other many viewers who are watching
Yes.
there.
Yes. So for me, gender identity is how I identify myself. The way I feel, me as a man. That's my gender. I'm a gay man. But maybe to you I may look like a man, but the way I feel inside, I may not be a man. So it depends. It's very individualistic. It depends to a man. It's not how you think or what you've been knowing. You have to turn that over again. You have to think again.
Yeah.
And with thinking, it's not what all with science and every other thinking thing. You have to forget all you know. Because if you stick to what you only know, then you're cutting off any other thing, any other information, any other thing. So it depends on what you feel inside of someone feels. And you have to respect how they feel. If I tell that I'm a man, you have to check that because that's how I feel. That is how I feel inside.
So yes, Paris, I'm enjoying the interview. I'm enjoying the space.
too.
I'm really feeling that I belong here.
Yeah.
But
This is a safe space.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
But when we were growing, we had this that a female has a male. They have to marry females. Male marrying females. Now, when we come to you and you're saying that I have a boyfriend, so it confuses people. And there is a where it was written in the Bible, which I'm not so good with the Bible, but that it was written that go and produce. So, and you two males, how
But
do you produce?
and there are any people who are barren that don't produce. You know, sex and being together and relationship.
Talk about sex. Talk about sex.
It's not about procreation. It's not about just giving kids. It's not about that. It's about what I feel. If I feel that I'm attracted to a man, that's how I feel. It's not about you to judge how I feel. It's about how I want to present my feeling and my affection to this person, to my partner. So for me, my relationship, my relationship goal is not about to come with this man and create kids because I don't have the tools to create kids. Maybe I don't have the tools, but I have the feelings to love this person, to love this man.
So you go more extra mile from.
Yes, it's not about having kids because there are people in this world who will never have kids. Not because they don't want, but because that's the way they are. Maybe they're barren, or maybe they don't even want to go through the physical process of having a kid. Yeah, so it's not about that. And the time
we call the surrogate mothers.
Yeah, there are surrogates who even have kids for other people. They're not theirs even. So it all depends on the goal of the relationship and how your life is and how your orientation is. To me, I'll have kids, but not the way you think that I'll have kids. Yeah. So, and in this era or in the time we are living in, so don't take me back to the 90s. Don't take me back to the dark times where the passport to a person or being an adult is having a kid, where to a relationship ends to be woman and man. No, we are no longer in those times. And if you can't accept that, that's your loss. Because the time will always continue. Time is a continuum. It never stops. The eras and all the times will keep on going. But all we want to stop is that people should stop this homophobia, all we need is equality. Just let me be, just let me love the guys I want, the boys, and let me be attracted to whatever I want to be. Your job is to mind your business and feel what you feel. Don't judge me according to my orientation or my sexuality.
That's good, that's kind of interesting. Let's talk about child labor.
It's a very bad thing, and we should also stop it. Every kid deserves to go out of their childhood normally without that trauma of working hard, without carrying very big things, without physically damaging themselves and mentally damaging themselves because of work, because they're trying to make money. Every kid deserves to be in school, deserves to play, to live normally, to have the right food, the right all food. Of course, these are things that are not for everyone, they're not everywhere. but our responsibility is to fight for them, to make sure that every kid gets that. Every kid is not exposed to child labor. That's the worst thing to happen to a kid. It destroys their childhood, it destroys their life. It's something that is permanent. It's not something that just happens. It's something that people live with, and it's so traumatic. So every person has to protect every child from child labor, from any other threat to a child.
Wow, that's so nice. Craig, I've forgotten something. When you're taking us through your journey, the school, your childhood, you taught us primary, secondary. Did you go to the university?
Yes, I did to university, and it's the same thing. I also had things, but then again, at university I had a boyfriend by then, so I did go to university.
Yeah, because there's some parents like when they get to know get to understand that they get to know their children's sexuality, they deny them from going to school.
Yeah.
So what is your take on that?
I was lucky because my parents were, by the time I joined university, my parents were separated, and it's only my dad who was paying for me. And my mom got to know about my sexuality first. So I was lucky to join university because I was on the other side. And by the time they were not talking and all that. But it's true, most kids in Uganda don't get the chance to study because once their parents find out about their sexuality, they stop paying school fees for them. And that is the thing with queer children, and that's the threat that we have in Uganda, in Africa, and everywhere else, that we are disenfranchised. That once people get to learn about our true self, they cut off things that could empower us, education, allowances, financial empowerment, financial help, and all that. They basically make it impossible for us to succeed in life. For us, it's a very struggle. We struggle from childhood. We have double trouble.
Yeah, but they say gay people have money.
Not really.
Yeah.
We are one of the most challenged minorities. It's just that gay people understand that the resources are there, very minute for us to use, and we use it to the best of our abilities. Yeah. So we don't really have money. We don't have money. We just like no. It's just that the gay community cares about themselves. It's just that when we get to know that you don't need us, we go to ourselves, we keep to ourselves, and we empower ourselves. We use the little we have to empower everyone of us.
Because I've seen your phone during an office, and I was like surprised. What are some of the success stories so far?
I think the coalition is a very big success story for my life and also for the community. Is that we have something, we have our voice, we have where we run, we have our safe space here. It's a success story. And also that we have this community, knowing that we have leaders, we have the rest of the community, we know where to go, we have National Network for the media and all that, we have so we have other groups and all that. So for me, it's a very big success story. Having the sense of community, having friends, having family, for me that's a success story. And also having Joe, having this leadership position, being able
because I was going to say, I was going to ask you that they usually say that gay people typically that right now is, and I've seen you in an office. I was so
not really. Okay, me, I don't want to generalize because gay people or queer people are just normal people. They're just normal. But all I know that because we go through many afflictions when growing up, the problems and challenges, it's just that it makes us sharper. It makes us more determined, it makes us more stronger, and makes us more go-getters. So for us, twin and Amagers is not passing and those yes, they just don't know. It's just gay people are so pushed to the corner that we are left with only our tools.
Yeah, the problem is that some people they don't come out because they fear.
Yeah.
What will the people say? What will the environment say? Sometimes, and even they would like to come out. You've talked about your primary, it's about childhood, child well-being. You've talked about your primary or secondary. Did you happen to go to a boarding school?
Yeah, I was in a boarding school. I was once in a boarding school, but it's all the same thing.
Was it single sex?
It was a single school. It was a single school. Of course, I think every gay guy dreams of going to this.
I didn't go.
You did?
I didn't.
all the gay guys I knew corresponded to being in a single school. So I went through a single school. It was interesting because with all the boys around you know, we started even giving ourselves. We started to know that there were tops, bottoms, and but that's what single school.
Oh my God!
But the single school because you're left with people you're attracted to, and it's like a normal setting for you, you know. It's just that also in
is it that everyone who goes in the single schools turns up?
No, not necessarily. There are straight people in single schools, and there are also homophobic straight people in single schools. But most single schools, okay, the ones I went to, there were a lot of gay people. But I don't want to generalize. It's not a fact that every single school belongs to the gays. No, but I met so many gay people in the single schools. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so interesting. You know, as we're in this campaign, which is the Child Wellbeing Campaign, and we love people, or we thank people who are watching us right now, people who really are committed on our pages, and people who make us to bring these stories to you, the stories you missed, the stories you have to know, because there's so many people who just talk things without having knowledge. They discriminate people without anything. Like someone can discriminate you without even knowing what you did.
They just don't like gay people. Why don't you like gay people? What did we ever do to you? If you don't like us, we don't like you too. But then again, that's not the point. We don't need you to like us. We just need equality. We just want you to accept that we are born equal. You know, with the rights you deserve, the same rights I deserve.
Have you ever gotten any challenge in like accessing for medication?
Yeah, of course, definitely, because of the homophobia. People restrict gay people to go access health services. There are places that you can't readily go to access the services because you know they will be looking at you in a different way.
You can't go with your boyfriend to
obviously you can't go because they will ask, you are both men, what are you doing there? But of course, as times are changing, there are service providers that are gay friendly here in Kenya, where we are, and back in Uganda, there were gay-friendly service providers. Yes.
Well, what message do you have for the people of the health providers who deny these queer people from getting services? Because we have the human rights, and in that human rights phase there is right.
Everyone deserves health. Yes, there's a right to health. Yes. So for me, I will remind these health providers. And whoever, that doctors all actually take an oath when they are taking office and all, that they are bound to protect this life. You're supposed to be protective of this life, this client that comes to your health service unit or whatever. So you're supposed to protect them. It's not about you again, it's about this person. They are in need, they want to be treated. They're just like any other person like you. So just give them the services that they deserve. You know, they want their HIV or they want HIV services. Just treat them the way you want to be treated.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We are concluding. You're the director of the coalition of East Africa, Refugee Coalition of East Africa. Where are you seeing this coalition within 5 years to come?
So I'm seeing this as like the way we started the coalition. We wanted to empower our community. That every one of us, wherever they are in Kenya, as they are waiting for their resettlement, is that they're empowered, that they have something to eat. When they are sick, they have nowhere they can go or whatever, and to advocate for their rights. So I see the coalition as that has grown in 5 years. I see it going across the borders in East Africa, helping other groups, because we know there are so many LGBTI groups all over East Africa that need this help, needs this type of advocacy, that needs this type of empowerment. So I see the coalition will be bigger and better. I see it empowering more people. I see it fighting for more rights. I see it fighting for equity.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're in COVID-19, and how has it affected your living?
Like anyone else, the pandemic came without any warning, and the socio-economic effects is being felt by everyone around the world.
I saw you when the moment we entered, you were like, "Are you first of all wash your hands?"
Yeah,
you were so strict.
yeah, of course we have to continue with the preventive measures, the mask and the sanitizer and all that. Yeah, but COVID has affected us everywhere. There is isolation, people are alone, traumatically, mentally, people are stressed. They are alone in their houses, the prices of food have been hiked. It's really very hard for you and the food to come by. Going maybe to go to health services, to seek health services, it's really hard because of the movement restriction and with the chaos and the government and the harassment, police harassment. The curfew time and all that, people are caught up with time. And the police, you know how police brutality works. So COVID has brought other challenges in between, on top of the ones that we had.
So, like, I'm seeing you under the coalition. What has the coalition done to its members or to the beneficiaries due to this pandemic?
Yeah, we've managed to fundraise for funds. For the first few months, we've managed to fundraise for emergency relief. That included food distribution.
Wow, you did it?
Yeah, yes, we did. COVID preventive measures, health emergency cash box, and all those things in between. And we've been able to do that with support of our partners, Light, Oram, HRC, and other individual sponsors and groups. And the coalition as an umbrella body, we are trying to empower our members and the rest of the community. Whether there is an emergency case, we'll try to reach out, we'll try to help out where we can, and we will continue to advocate for our rights and empower the community all round.
Wow, that's so interesting and so loving. Thanks for being so kind.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
It's a campaign we're running and it's about child well-being, how people are being treated, how people have gone through. People have gone through a lot. But you giving us this chance, it's really going to be, I think these stories will change people's perspective about the queer or the marginalized groups. Hope to see you in those 5 years as a big. Alright, it's Raymond Bryan and the show is called the Unheard Stories, and it's sponsored by the Nature Network and other organizations who are really we are partnering with. So I would like to thank our cameraman. There she is, or they are. So when it comes to the pronoun, I am.
Which you have to respect, man.
I do, and we urge everyone to respect someone's pronoun. So Madeline, thank you so much for being with us on the camera, the Nature Network team, the producers of this show. Raymond Bryan is my name. See you.